AustralianMusiciansRadio.com.
Australian Musicians Radio advises the following program may contain coarse language, adult themes, unsolicited product placement, quality banter, unscripted bullshit, dad jokes, cringeworthy puns, lewd anecdotes, general fuckery, and lots of local, independent, original music.
Hi, I'm Daniel M. Pern. Welcome to Bar Talk.
Well, howdy, everybody. How you going? It's your boy, Big D, Big Daniel the Big, or small, I guess, depending on how, how relative it is. Size is relative, as they say. I digress. Welcome, everyone, to yet another fascinating, lovable, and cuddleable episode of Bar Talk. Episode 40, to be precise. I want to get straight into it because I'm very excited. We're trying something a bit different for this episode. We're trying keeping it a bit original, a bit different. And you're gonna know. So I hope you guys like this, this format we're bringing out this week. For those of you who remember back for episode 25 last year when we interviewed August River Band and the English Rain. We did a bit of a joint interview episode on that one after the other. Well, I'm trying it again this time, but with a bit of a different format, doing it in two parts, as you've seen. So this first part, which we'll be going to very shortly, I had the pleasure of interviewing Tanaya Harper, all the way from WA, and that's going to contain the first part. And then after this little part, this first half of the episode, you're going to have to switch episodes and play part B, because afterwards, later in that second half, I had the pleasure of chatting to Barley Passable, Sydney electronic duo. Both of these artists have put out new music, which we go into good depth about when we chat, and I had a lot of fun chatting to both of them. But right now, we're going to go into Tanaya Harper's new EP that she did, a live EP, and you're going to hear us chatting all about that. But we are going to start off by playing one of the songs on that EP called "Don't Go Outside." Then you're gonna hear my interview with Tanaya. So, guys, without further ado, enjoy.
Hi there, my name is Tanaya Harper, and you're listening to AMR.
It won't stop. All these years that I've tried to learn the self-talk I deserve. You'd never even guess how insidious it really is. You're not welcome, you're not welcome here. You're not welcome, you're not. Sometimes I do believe all the nice things that you say to me, but I won't dare say out loud the words I hear that pull me so far down. You're not welcome, you're not welcome here. Oh, you're not welcome, you're not. Would you speak to a child the way that you speak to yourself? Would you speak to a child the way that you speak to yourself? Don't go outside. Don't go outside. Don't go outside. Don't go outside.
how about that? That was very nice indeed. That was one of the songs off, live recorded songs off Tanaya Harper's brand new live EP, Tender is the Night, volume numero uno. It's the second track off that, and as she so very conveniently told me, it was one of the songs off her previous EP as well. But that was Don't Go Outside off that, off the live version of that new EP. I'm very excited because I do have Tanaya on the line with me, all the way from WA, lazily lounging, not making herself useful whatsoever. Tanaya, I'm terribly ashamed, but I shouldn't feel too ashamed because you're wasting your time with me, and that's probably time better wasted than just sitting on the couch, don't you reckon?
No, it gives me a reason not to go out and catch up with someone or give myself some job that's not just enjoying being at home finally. I'm too busy. I'm too busy for my own good, so this is nice.
What's your favourite lazy day activity?
I really enjoy going to the park and having a little stroll and eating something yummy.
Oh yeah,
that's probably my favorite lazy day.
Yes.
If at home though, probably just like watching a movie first thing in the morning. You wake up, you make a coffee, and you're like, you know what? I've got lots of free time. I'm going to watch a movie.
Okay, you're a movie in the morning kind of person.
Yeah, if the mood strikes.
All right. Because I remember whenever I don't normally associate like movies, morning time. Although I have been to a matinee session at a cinema, which can be a lot of fun because what movie was it? It was when we were growing up. It was when it was some horror film that came out that our friend said, "I'll come along and see." And we did. It was great because it was one of those like mystery, horror mystery films. It was like, who done it sort of thing. And I'm trying to remember what it was. Oh, it was the one where they're in the elevator and like one of them's the devil. And it was,
my God, that sounds horrifying. I've never seen that.
It was written by M. Night Shyamalan of all people, but not directed by him. But so like had a certain level of tackiness that was like, you had to take a bit of the piss out of it. But it was great. It was the five of us. We all went in together. There were the only people in the cinema, and we were just making a whole ruckus because we were like, oh, yeah, it's going to be that person. And we were like, chucking popcorn, being really loud. And it was great because we weren't disturbing anyone.
Isn't it great when you also like leave the cinemas and the sun is still up? Isn't that the weirdest?
It is.
Because I'm so used to walking out of the cinemas and it's nighttime. So at least that would have made the film a little less scary because you wouldn't have walked out into like the night.
I think it also helped. I think it also helped that we had other people there because then we were just talking shit about it afterwards when we went and had lunch.
You know what? I feel like I have to somehow find these people. One time I was a kid and I went with like a group of kids to see, of all things, The Proof of Life. And I don't know if you've ever seen that film, but it was like Meg Ryan. It was a blockbuster. And for some reason, us kids were just like being babysat and just made to go to the movies. So we went to like the most adult film. And we did not care one bit about this movie, and we were just throwing popcorn and being all rowdy. And the cinema was full, and it was full of adults who probably work all week. They were finally going on like a little date together. We just ruined it. And this adult couple behind us went and got the manager, and the manager kicked us out. But they did that closer to the end of the film. So that whole movie was ruined for them. I feel like I need to find them and apologize.
Well, was the movie any good though in hindsight? Was it one of those ones that was like a landmark film for its time, or was it just terrible?
Think from memory it's a little bit like Blood Diamond, I think. Like It's quite full on action film, but I could be really wrong. But yeah, I think if I went back and watched it now, it would be like high tense. It would be, what's that word? Like high intensity film.
Yeah.
It was around the same time as The Panic Room, that kind of stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a very particular period, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we've never been kicked out of a cinema, but I have been kicked out go-karting because we decided to go drunk after having some birthday drinks with a friend, and this go-kart place is open until about 1 a.m. It's like, bloody hell, let's go drunk go-karting, and we got kicked out because we were being too rough with the go-karts.
So you'd already, this isn't bumper cars, this is go-karts.
This is proper go-karts, not bumper cars, not those little piddly things.
Did you just keep like deliberately slamming into the tires? The whole point is to try and drive really well, but were you just
they were
popping
like,
around?
We were being really rough with each other, like slamming into each other, going like, well, not stupidly fast, like they're supposed to go fast, and that's what you're supposed to do, but like on purposely being unsafe, like ramming people in the back.
Of course, because you're all limber and like you would not be as damaged, because you're drunk.
Oh yeah, apparently, and it was just the five of us. It was just the guy. Like there was no one else on the track because
Nobody else. Yeah, so you just went gun ho.
But they just went.
Did you know that it's an offence if you get caught riding your horse drunk? It's considered drink driving.
I did know that any vehicle. So yeah, drink cycling is apparently a thing, but I don't think I've heard of anyone.
Isn't that sad? Isn't that sad that a horse is considered a vehicle, not your sentient being that you're exercising? Your sentient being that you're just like having a bonding session with. It's a vehicle.
I'm not riding the horse. He's simply giving me a piggyback.
Yeah. He's taking me home. The horse is a man, and he's taking me home.
He's not a vehicle. He's simply an extension of my legs.
Yeah. He's my spirit guide. What? You can see him? Oh, I thought I was the only one.
I thought I was just ominously floating.
Yeah.
Above
So
the ground.
can you please stop levitating for a second?
So we're charging you for drink driving with an invisible horse.
Yeah, we're charging you for a drink floating.
Slaps the ticket on the horse's mane.
Oh, and he's like, "Oh wow, that's quite firm air." Huh.
Yeah,
That's weird.
Quite solid. Yeah. Do that next time. You have to paint your horse in a camo outfit so no one sees it. Call him John Cena.
The horse's camo and the outfit that the person is wearing is camo as well, and then it's just invisible.
Yeah. It's just like then you can just see these reins floating. And they can call the horse.
Just the reins.
Call the horse John Cena.
Oh, imagine if you lived in a world where there were just like heaps of reins floating in the air.
You know what that reminds me of? And I know this is getting into like what the 14th tangent in about 5 minutes. It reminds me of that Round the Twist episode where the girl turns invisible, but she has to be naked because the clothes obviously show up. And so at the end of the episode, she gets caught out because the invisibility wears off and she's caught riding naked on a horse like Lady Godiva.
I remember that so vaguely. The one I remember the most was swallowing the frog, and the guy who got pregnant. I don't remember the naked girl as much, but it's there. It's in the back of my memory.
The tree pregnancy, and then of course there was the fish.
Wasn't that great?
The whirly willy one with the fish.
Yeah, oh God, isn't that amazing that they got the funding to do that? I heard actually a rumor or a theory that in the 90s, the reason why we have so many acidy TV shows and cartoons is especially from America, is because in the 90s they trialed like lowering the level of censorship. So that's why we have Ren and Stimpy and all of these crazy shows.
Like Beavis and Butthead and like
just real weird shit. And it's because like they got given free rein. They tried to like see what would happen if you lowered censorship. And so that's why that particular era is just so intense.
We thought it was good, then you decided to make him have a spinny penis. And that was the cut-off point.
In Beavis Buckhead?
No, I'm talking about that Round the Twist episode where he swallows a fish and gives him the whirly willy.
Yeah.
For those of you who didn't grow up on Round the Twist or any international listeners are going, what the hell are they talking about?
This is starting to sound like the Andy Griffiths like uncanny books.
I'm surprised
it's starting to sound like all of that.
I'm surprised they never made a TV show out of that. That was one of my favourite books growing up.
Yeah, they were amazing. They were some of my first books. And Lemony Snicket, the series of unfortunate events, they were incredible.
They had some pretty whacked up stuff in it though.
So freaky.
A lot of kids' books
like stuff that gives kids nightmares.
You can get away with it more in books, I think, than TV shows. And it must be just because of the visual medium. Because if you're going on TV, unless you're reading the kid's book, of course, but if you're on TV, you're seeing everything. Whereas in the book, the kid's out in the corner, he's just by himself reading.
Yeah. I think that maybe the scariest thing I think I ever saw as a kid was the original Witches with Angelina Houston.
The OG,
Did you ever see that? The OG, fuck, that was scary. That was so scary. Like the witches with their long nails and their bold, like scabby heads. And she was so scary.
And that film, that was the one that I always found it funny because they would just randomly have Rowan Atkinson cameoing as the clueless hotel manager.
Yeah, absolutely. And like the book, it was so much less intimidating than the movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely films will give kids nightmares way before a book will.
I want to say It's a long overdue welcome to the show, Tanaya.
Oh, hello. Hi. Hola.
There's a lot to talk about, but it's not about your music, clearly.
No, I could go on forever. Can you imagine me stoned? It'd be like this times a million.
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to recommend that this episode. I'm going to put a recommendation on there saying that please take your
Please come back
complimentary
in
tab.
the future and have a joint before we start the interview.
I was going to say for people listening, take a tab. Just a a light puff,
and just hear the tangent start,
and then just into tangents.
Engines
lines.
rolling. Yeah,
exactly. Just interconnecting in random spots. But
yeah.
I just want to say, good stuff on the new EP. I guess you call it. Do you call it an EP or a live album? It's sort of interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I guess it's an EP because it's 6 songs. I'm a real fan of EPs. I think that gone are the days of like 16-song albums, unless you're like Thundercat or something. But
true.
Yeah, I really like EPs because it's just a more concise little snippet. It's less intimidating than like concept album. It's less like. Sometimes I feel like with albums, when you're thinking about them, you feel like you have to fill the space rather than like, I have these 5 songs and I feel complete. But yeah, I would call it an EP, I guess, because it's few, only 6 tracks. But it is a live album at the same time, so it's a live EP.
Beautifully crafted, beautifully crafted release. So I must say, because
you mean sonically?
Just beautifully recorded. Sounds great. You can tell it's a live album, but it is just nicely done.
Yeah, I'm really impressed because Lee Gardner, who like designed the whole event, I think he recorded it just for like archival sake and just so he could accompany the audio to some videos just in order to promote the next show with the next artist. But then, they ended up so good. The mastering sounded so crisp that it warranted being released, with quite a few of the songs. But yeah, even like some people have been tricked into thinking that it's not live because the recording's such good quality. So that's just really good feedback.
And then at the end there's just the claps. You go, oh, okay, yeah, right.
Oh, that was live.
The other people in the crowd.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. I'm just really chuffed with the whole thing. And yeah, someone said to me, I didn't think it was live. And I was like, you know why? Because you can't hear people talking over me. That's why you forget that it's live, because usually there's like the murmur of the audience. But this audience was like extremely present and just there for the event. So yeah, that was something I was extremely grateful for and really enjoyed.
Tell us a bit about the event that you recorded it at, because I guess how did it come about and what were you aiming to do as part of it?
So in the middle of last year, this cool dude over here called Lee Gardner, he messaged me and he was like, hey, Tanaya, I've got this idea where I want a local musician to play their songs with like a string quartet behind them. I was like, oh, that sounds amazing. But, because it wasn't my idea, I had no full comprehension of what he was getting at. So then he asked me to send him a couple of my songs just played to my voice memos on my phone, just acoustically. So I did, and I sent them off. And then what he did was he passed those songs onto about 4 different string arrangers, like composers. And then that meant that they like got 2 or 3 songs each. And they came up with arrangements for a quartet to the songs they were given. And then what happened was a couple months after that, the event took place and I just arrived and the strings players were there setting up, and we didn't really get a sound check. We just got to figure out the beginnings and endings of the tracks. We didn't actually get to play through the whole songs, and just to make sure everything was like, well started and cut off. And yeah, then the people started rocking up to this backyard in this suburb over here, and eventually the backyard filled up with picnic blankets and picnics. And then it started, and it was like that was really the first time we were playing because we didn't get to have a rehearsal. And there was filming and an audio recording of it. And I got to use in-ears for the first time ever. And, then, a couple months later, Lee sent me the recordings to them. And they just sounded really good. And he was like, I would like to get them mastered. And at the same time, I decided that for my next EP, I would have, my like 4 songs of my next EP on the A side. And for the B side, I would put the Tender is the Night songs. That's the plan with that. And then the bushfires happened in Perth a bit over a month ago. And that was really devastating. I think like 80 homes got lost. So I really wanted to raise some money for the bushfires. So I decided kind of then and there just to release the EP like a day or two later, just to see if, the sales from that on Bandcamp could raise enough money to, be like happy enough with the amount raised to pass on to the bushfire victims. And it raised like $900 so far. So
That's pretty impressive, yeah.
Yeah, so that was the whole event. It was like a backyard quartet to a local musician's songs, really.
I was going to say, it is such a testament to those arrangements to then not actually have rehearsed with the string players.
Yeah, the important thing was that the recordings that I sent to them were how I would play it live. That was the really integral bit, because if I rocked up that day and was like, actually, I do this thing as well in the song, then that would just fuck the whole thing up. So, yeah, they arranged them just to the recording. And then the strings players are absolute professionals, like the fact that they could just get up and play with someone play for someone they'd never played with before is just really incredible. It was such a moment. It was such a special, special thing. And I only realized how special it was once it was happening.
Yeah.
Like I had no idea what it was actually going to be like. And then I realized how special it was.
I was going to say that you would have had a lot of intrepidation, surely, because I'm guessing you hadn't heard anything of what they've been working on.
No, yeah. I had no preconceived expectations at all. And then once I heard how magnificent the arrangements were, I was just like blown away. And it's an event that Lee is having every season, so per season of the year. Like that was the spring one, which was the first one. And then he just had his autumn one, I believe, with Jane Azzopardi from a band called Calmly that used to be known as Child Saint. Yeah. So again, they learnt arrangements to songs they hadn't played live before, and I heard that went beautifully. So yeah, it's a very beautiful idea he has, and I hope that if he goes for any grants that he gets them, because it's well worth it.
So how many has he done so far?
After me, he did his summer installment, which was Sean Gorman from Salary. Yep. I'm not sure if you've heard that band, but it's like stunning. And then, yeah, as I said, Jane from Calmly, formerly known as Child Saint, they did one with her just recently, and instead of the backyard, this time they did it in a town hall in Leaderville. I'm actually like slightly jealous that I didn't get to play a town hall, but I got the OG, so like I'm happy with that. I got to break the water.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, you might have to get in another time if you're feeling a bit jealous.
I think so. Maybe I think one day he might do like an all stars. He'll get everyone back for like two of their songs. Because by that point, cool. Yeah, if he does it for like another 3 artists, then he'll have like 6 of us that can all come and do like 2 songs each. So that'd be a good set.
What I mean with it now, because then you said that you decided on picking. You were saying to me before you decided on picking a couple of songs from the newer EP, and then a few the others are from your first. Yeah. What sort of? I mean, how many songs did you play during your set? Because you only then end up putting 2 songs from the second EP, and then you were saying this before we started the interview, that you then put the other 4 or the last 4 songs were from your first EP. I mean, what process did you have to go to whittle down the songs that you ended up having on the EP?
It was more that I didn't think strings suited the full band songs because I didn't have my band playing with me. So I decided that the strings would suit solo songs better. It would suit me playing on guitar better than it would suit me playing a song that really, really suits a full band better, but that they weren't there. And also it was extremely nice to go and revisit some kinds, because I recorded it a few years ago very much on the fly. Like people had been asking me, when are you going to have some music out? And I was like, I don't know, but I've got these songs. I guess I should record them. And I just recorded them in a bedroom, but they didn't get to really live like their full potential instrumentally, because, it was just me with guitar, and Stella Donnelly played on a few of them, which gave them more life as far as having like, more going on. But yeah, I definitely felt like when I got to play them with strings, it just finally felt like, okay, cool, they've had their day now.
Yeah, you got to get them out with a sort of a different, I guess, musical perspective now that you've passed them on to these very talented players to put their own spin on it.
It's also really nice just to like revisit old songs, because I'd been playing the new EP songs like a fair bit, so it was really nice to go, oh, there's this other EP that I brought out like 2-3 years ago. It would be really nice to just like say hello to them again and give them some respect.
Do you find that with just generally speaking your own stuff, like it doesn't have to be the stuff that you played on the night, but just generally speaking with your songs, do you find that there's a bit of that thing where you get a bit fatigued when the song first comes out? You've got to leave it a little while, a few months, and then you sort of start to appreciate it again, that you can play it for a bit?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that like the whole cycle of bringing out a single, there's so much like energy and emotional energy that gets put into it, and it starts to, I don't know, it oversaturates it in your own mind. And so it definitely loses its magic and charm by the time it comes out. Because often someone's single as well, they recorded it like a year ago. Like it's new to anybody who's hearing it recorded, but it's really old for the artist. It's like really old for them generally because, that's just how it works. You don't write a song and then record it that day and then release it the next week. You usually write a song and you write a few more and then you'll record. And then you'll start the cycle of considering releasing it, and it just takes a really long time. So, yeah, that's definitely true, what you said.
Is it, look, with any of so how many songs did you end up playing on the night?
I played, I think, about 10 songs, and then from those 10, I picked the 6 that are on the EP.
Yeah. What was there? Was there a lot of, was it hard to make that final decision?
Not really, because I could release as many as I wanted to, but I decided not to release the ones that I weren't as happy with vocally. Like I sang Crash Pad, but I had come off the back of a 3-month tour. Sorry, not a 3-month tour, a 3-week tour with Ghost Care and Spacey Jane. And
don't hype yourself up that much. Come on.
No,
I know. Like in 2020, the weeks felt like months and the months felt like years. But come on.
My voice, honestly, was shot when I got to that gig that night because I'd only finished tour the day before. I was really scared. I actually was worrying about whether I'd really be able to sing. So when I did listen back to the recordings, there were songs that were a little bit strenuous. Like Crash Pad, I decided not to release because, definitely the yelling bit in that song did not come across as nice and crisp and shiny as I would have liked. So, that was a very intentional, I'm not releasing that one.
Just a tad raw for the wax, so to speak.
Yeah, a tad rough. Like the word pitch really does not occur with that one. So so it wasn't hard to pick which ones I wanted because I knew which ones I didn't want.
Fair enough. So it was really rather than picking your favourites, it was a process of elimination.
Yeah, it was definitely just like an easy no, a really, really firm, easy no.
Yeah. Tell me a bit about that, I guess the writing process, because I mean, this is going more generally into music. I know we're here to talk about the EP, but I want to talk about other things.
Yeah.
No, with your writing process, are you more of a person, though, that does tend to find that you can complete a song in one setting? Or
I used to when I was younger, but as I've gotten older, it doesn't happen as much. I'm not sure if it's just like the overwhelming hormones and emotion of being younger and you're just like, you're really pissed off or you're really sad. And so you'll just write a song just in one sitting. But nowadays I tend to come up with the core concept and maybe the core song structure, but definitely I won't finish it in a setting. And it used to really scare me. I used to think, oh my God, maybe my songwriting skills are disappearing. Maybe I'm not going to be able to write songs ever again soon. But it just changes as you get older. I think that's what I've noticed.
Yeah. So you really can't pin down what's caused that change by the sounds of it.
Maybe it's being too critical too soon. Maybe it's when you try to edit something before there's anything really to edit, you just collapse in on yourself. Maybe that's all it is.
So have you found that as you've gotten more experience then with your writing, that you've been able to not so much subdue the critique, but the critique within you. You've been able to sort of, accept that self critique and not move beyond it, but I'm trying to think of the word, but you know what I mean, where you got your self critic inside you, sort of yelling at you, telling you not to do this, telling you not to do that, but you can still plow along and finish something and then go, all right, now critique it, now tell me what's bullshit about it.
Yeah, it's something that you have to learn to do, and sometimes it's not as easy. Sometimes you can't get past it, and it's a real shame. But I think that a really good thing to do in that situation is maybe just go and listen to your own songs and be like, oh, you know what? Yeah, I can write music. I have done it before. And that song that I'm listening to right now, that was really hard to write, but I did it. So, yeah, you just got to remind yourself that you are capable and you can do it. And
do you think now that you've done, I was going to say, sorry, because this is the first time you've had a live album done, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, did you have any preconceptions about live albums before you'd gone into doing this?
I really like albums. I really like the Portishead live album. Is it Roseland? Is that how you say it? Roseland Ballroom. Thank you, James. So we're in the car. I've got my boyfriend next to me.
You got your brain's trust with you by the sounds of it.
Yeah. Voting's a very tense time. I love live albums. I really enjoy just browsing YouTube and watching people sing live, because I find it so impressive when you can tell that someone doesn't auto tune, they actually are a really good singer or whatever. So I think I always did want to do a live album, but just the opportunity never really presented itself. And I feel like when you just do a recording at a venue, it often doesn't really come across as great. But
the results of the actual recording itself may not be at the level you want it to be, essentially.
Yeah, I've heard live recordings of myself at just local venues, and they've just kind of sent them over to me, and I've been really, really excited to listen to them, and then I hear them, and I'm like, oh, that feeds straight into the desk isn't very nice. That's why this one was really shocking. I never intended to release it at all. And then I heard the recordings and was so impressed by just the quality. And I was actually mostly shocked that I had sang well, because like I said, I'd come off the back of a tour. I'd really lost my voice. I could barely talk. I was expecting it to sound so terrible, but it didn't. So that was quite a shock. And I'm really, really, really happy about that.
I was going to say, you don't have any specific, lost voice techniques to try and improve it
I was shocked. The whole time I was like, wow, holy Jesus, I sound so Amy Winehouse while I was on stage. I was like, fuck, I'm not a smoker, but I sound like one. And then when I listened back to the recordings, it didn't sound like that at all. I was like, oh, I guess that's really a testament to whenever you feel like you sound bad or you're playing bad and you come off stage and you're like, oh, that was such a bad performance. I sounded so bad. And everybody's like, no, you sounded great. And you don't believe them. Now I think I'm more inclined to believe people when they say that, oh, no, you did great. I didn't notice what you're noticing at all.
Yeah. Whereas before you were just like, yeah, you're just being nice. Get off your high horse.
Absolutely. Totally.
Stop fronting me.
Yeah. Oh, come on. You don't have to stroke my ego. It's fine. I know I sound shit, but no, now I'm inclined to believe that maybe we don't do as badly as maybe some of us feel like we do.
Yeah. It's again that self-critique coming out again.
Yeah, totally. But I think now I'm starting to get a bit of a hold on it over time. As you get older, everything gets easier, right?
Is that a thing? Because I feel like you ask an old person every day, it gets harder to get up the sore joints or something. I don't know. I know that was probably a very bad thing to say against old people. Old people are lovely.
No, I'm doing an aged care class. I'm studying nursing at the moment. And it's really devastating to learn about a lot of the things that happen as you get older. But at the same time, it's also really beautiful to think that maybe you could, I don't know, be a carer in some capacity and just help them enjoy their time, even though they might have ailments and stuff. I don't know. That's a whole other world that I'm starting to become aware of.
It's just a philosophy. It sounds like you're just getting a little bit philosophical there for a sec.
Yeah, definitely.
You don't try and bring any particular philosophy to your writing style, do you? Oh, that was a bit
I do actually.
You do?
No,
Okay.
I do.
I thought you were about to go.
Yeah.
What kind of question's that, Daniel?
No, I don't get like literal. I don't start talking about like Kant or Nietzsche or anything, but I definitely have my like own personal philosophy in life, and like where, for instance, I do truly believe that as bad as things get, there are silver linings. I think a lot of that has to do with like having bipolar, and so when lows are really, really, really bad, I always know that there will be an upturn. I don't know when it's going to happen, but I know that it is going to come. And so I think that through all of my songwriting, even though at times it might be really sad, there is always like that, there's that insight of like, I know that what I'm talking about right now is very like solid and matter of fact, but I know that everything changes, nothing stays the same forever. So I'm always very aware of that, and that's the philosophy I hope that I bring.
Because it's not that uncommon, people being bipolar in the music industry or being creatives of some kind, some in some form or another. So do you think having that kind of condition does sort of lend this, I guess, perspective that you wouldn't otherwise have when it comes to writing and putting your thoughts down?
Yeah, I think it definitely, when I was younger and I was really unwell, because now I would call myself stable because I've been medicated really well for the last couple of years, but definitely like back when I was not well at all, it was kind of the only thing that I felt like I had to anchor me and to try and understand what was going on in my brain. So I think that a lot of the time, if artistic people do have bipolar, they've probably gravitated to the arts because it gives them that freedom to just explore and to, just have like some kind of outlet. I don't know. It's something that you can do alone as well. You don't need to be around other people. I think that it's very natural for people who are like have any kind of condition where they feel other or they feel confused. They will gravitate to the arts purely because like they are mediums that you can use however you like. And so, one will appeal to you more and then you'll use it and you'll explore it and you'll just make it work for you, really. I wish I was a painter. I do feel like that will be something I'll do in my later life because like I think people who paint to understand and paint to express, I think that's probably the most freeing form of art outside of maybe dance, like contemporary dance. I think that that's also like very incredible. And I know that a lot of people who dance like do suffer from like quite bad depression. So that whole like movement therapy, trying to like communicate messages and emotions through like dancing, obviously helps some people as well. So the arts is just like a really good friend. The arts is a really good friend until your critique comes out and then it's not your friend anymore and you start thinking it's your enemy when really you are your own enemy.
That sounds like an internal battle going on there.
Yeah, I usually write about that a lot. Like even just it's so difficult to songwrite sometimes because that critique is always there already. So even some of my songs are literally about trying to write, like just that naughty voice in your head that makes you feel terrible and makes you doubt yourself. It's usually about that. It's
a bit of an irony, don't you think? Oh, yeah, this song that I wrote is about me not being able to write.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it's about the battle of trying to be able to write.
It's just a tad meta.
What song was it? I think Dissociate, or maybe I think it was Feeding Frenzy. That those songs definitely were talking about like feeling like this block, just something blocking me. And then I struggled and I struggled and I struggled, and I finally had a song, like, after trying for so long, and it was like almost archival, like it was documenting that journey, that emotional stuntedness of like trying to write a song. Even though it's about lots of other things, like I feel like a song can be about something, but it can be about like everything and nothing. It can be about so many different things. You can pull it apart.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't really make sense to most people because it's like really, really, really personal, but at least there's themes there that everyone could hopefully relate to.
Do you think when you look back later in life, you're going to have this really sort of brushes of a journey going through where you can sort of pinpoint particular songs you've written and say, well, that was me at that time? Or are you hoping that will be the case?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that is what makes releasing songs so frustrating when like you've written a song and you're living the song. It's like in your blood at that moment in time, but then it takes so long to record. It takes so long to release. So by the time the song is out, you're no longer living that song anymore. It's like a memory. And you're like, oh yeah, I'm really, really glad that this song is out. But like at the same time, you know, there's this like disclaimer where you're like, but this isn't me anymore. You know, it's a really weird one.
You get that a lot as a songwriter, don't you? You go, oh yeah, and then this happened, and then like and this terrible thing occurred, and then you just hear the audience go, oh, it's like, it's okay, it's all gone now, I'm here.
No,
I didn't
it's okay,
die.
it's all right now. Yeah, totally. That's
Fine.
totally. Like I'll be like, oh, this song is a bad breakup. But that happened ages ago and we're fine now. We're actually back together, you know? So some people might be going through a breakup and really like feeling the song that you're singing, but like you're no longer feeling it. It's a really weird, jarring kind of reality of releasing music.
Yeah. You mentioned something before about the value of having that, your own personal space with the creative, I guess, with the creative process of, you know, putting together some form of art, whether that be song or, as you were mentioning, dance or a painting, you know, all these beautiful different examples of different types of art, where I guess alone time is important. You know, how much value do you put on alone time as opposed to having that social aspect of the music, you know, collaboration, you know, playing with a band, you know, dealing with other people to record, what have you? Like, where do you find what are the different strengths and I guess you, in your experience, even cons of working in that alone space versus working more collaboratively?
Right. I never ever write my own personal songs with people. I can't even write if my boyfriend's in the house.
Yeah,
I have to really be alone. Because I feel like, I don't know what it is. Like if I can feel somebody else is near me or something, I do believe in energy, and I do believe that, like, say, like, he's got this orange aura and I've got, like, a purple one, and if the purple just can't be, like, alone and really, like, with it, and there's this other kind of colour hovering around, it, like, mixes in, and, you know, you really do just need to be alone. And so that's how I write. Bringing the song to the band is a totally different ballgame. Like, the song really has to be finished before I do that, because I hate writing personal stuff with people. I'm so happy to write with someone else when it's their song. Like with Ghost Care, I'm there and I'm present when like Bo is trying to write a song with us, but it doesn't really go the other way at all, ever. Like maybe 1% of the time it does. Like I've done a song with Camerano a couple months ago, but then
great band,
my favorite
by the way.
thing is, he's amazing. But my favorite part of the whole writing process is actually once I get into the studio with Dave Parkin. He's just so incredible, and he's just so present with you, and he really builds you up, and he really I really respect his like songwriting kind of understandings and theories and instincts. So if it sounds like the song needs just a little bit extra, like maybe like a bridge here or something there, or extend this bit or cut that bit back, I find that highly enjoyable because I really trust him and I really respect him. But flip side, I wouldn't maybe be as comfortable if he was there while I was trying to write the song. You know, like I have to write the song alone, and then I can take that to him and hand it over. You know, like I have changed things in songs because he had suggested it. I wouldn't do it if it was someone that I didn't respect. I'd be like, fuck off, I'll do what I want, thanks. You know?
Strong independent songwriter. I don't need no producer.
Absolutely. I don't need your input. How about you leg it?
So you said there when you said about, you know, your boyfriend can't be in the room when you're songwriting, and it just reminded me of, I don't know why, Tanaya, you're going to have to forgive me, like those shows where it's like the old grandmother, like the old ethnic grandmother with the broom, like kicking the kids out to try and to try and do something in the lounge, or try and clean up in the lounge room. And here I am like, get out. I got an idea. Grabs a broom, starts whacking your boyfriend. Like, get the hell out of here.
If I come up with an idea, if it unfortunately happens when he's home, then I'll go into my music room. I will shut the door and I'll do it relatively quietly because I just don't want anyone to be there while that's happening. I really just want to do it alone. I don't want. I don't want anyone. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I'm probably cutting you off. Yeah, you don't want anyone to be in there. Do you reckon that's sort of like an insecure thing? Like, do you find that you have to pile on this sort of metaphor and, and these other, songs, maybe mystify it up a bit before you're ready to present these songs so that it doesn't...
I think more what it is if you're not yet even... If the idea is not even yet fully realized and someone's already there to give feedback, it really messes with the authenticity and the rawness of it, because that's co-writing. If someone gives you feedback and is like, you should do X, Y, and Z more than this, then they've already influenced something that really should just be all you.
So you're just worried about losing royalties.
No, I'm worried about it actually intercepting and intervening with the full intention behind something. Deep down, sometimes you don't even know what you're writing about. So if you're trying to figure that out and then someone comes in and goes, oh, I don't like this bit, or you should do more of this bit, then it's now the whole thing is destroyed. I just would rather do it myself. And then once I feel like I understand now what this thing is, then I will put it to you, and no matter what you say, I know what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I still stand by my royalties argument.
Royalties,
there. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
I will die on this hill.
It's dog eat dog here.
I want to chat a bit about what you've got upcoming, because you mentioned about recording and that you're in the process of putting out your next EP, or process of getting your next EP together.
Yeah, it's all together already. I think I've just got to get the songs mastered. But we have a 4-track EP that the song Emma will be on, the song I brought out a couple months ago.
Beautiful song. And that we played too on this here very show. So,
thank you very much.
Great song too.
It's a fun song. It's very fun. But that's a little 4-track EP that we'll bring out hopefully around, I'd say, May. We've kind of dropped the ball a bit because I've been very busy with work and stuff. So no rush to get it out. But it's going to be called Bad Faith. And the next single we bring out is actually going to be the song Bad Faith. So, yeah, I'm really excited to get that one out and hopefully get it on vinyl and stuff.
Have you put all of your previous releases on vinyl?
Now I have so far, yeah. Because when we brought out Slow Motion Breakup, which was my second EP, the first EP, Some Kinds, was on the B-side of that. So far, everything that's been released is on vinyl. I also sang... for The Cyclist, who's a UK electronic artist, and also the I sang on is on vinyl as well, which is pretty cool. So that's really nice. It's it's such a nice feeling when you receive your vinyl finally in the mail and you look at it and you open it, and it's just lovely.
Is there a is it like when you go into a new car and you get that, or some new vehicle, a new bus, and you know it's new because it's got that new car smell?
Yeah,
you know
it
what
does.
I'm talking
about. The new vinyl smell.
The new vinyl smell.
It does.
Yeah.
It does, and it also really makes you feel a bit validated. You're like, yeah, now I am a real musician because I have vinyl, not just CDs or not just cassette or not just digital, but vinyl. Wow, it's real. You
mentioned cassette. I was going to say you haven't gone down that route, have you?
No, I do. I was initially released on Healthy Tapes. That's how I got Some Kinds out. So that was only cassette. And then my second EP, we just did it but cassettes, I think they had quite a nice little 3-year period there where they were really popular.
Just some resurgence that just didn't go anywhere.
I think it's more merchandise is really expensive. If you want a vinyl, it's $40. If you want a T-shirt, it's $35 or $40. But a cassette's $5.
Yeah.
So I think if anything, it's a token. It's a souvenir. And if you have your little rack of cassettes, you can be like, oh yeah, I really like that Tanaya chick. Oh yeah, this is her cassette. Or because everyone's got Spotify now. So what would the fucking point be of buying a CD? When they can listen to you for free?
Yeah.
which is horrible. But yeah, I think that's where the cassette thing came from. Like, oh, why would they buy a CD when they can already listen to you like in this app for free, really? So that's why they would buy a cassette.
Fair enough. And so is there do you know roughly when the EP is going to come out at this stage, or is that a trade secret?
I reckon I'm like gonna say May. We've just got to bring out the Bad Faith single, and then we can bring out the EP after that. So that's usually like a 2-month, 2.5, 3-month turnaround. That, and I've actually got to put in the order for the vinyl. So there's a couple things I need to do before I go down that route and get the artwork.
Furiously scribbles on her to-do list.
Yeah, it's absolutely. Finish artwork, get masters. Yeah, it's definitely like lots and lots of things have to be in place before a musician can release stuff.
Yeah, it's not all groupies and beers or in your case they won't get this reference, Tanaya. The Smirnoff Ices. All you people at home just think it's all Smirnoff Ice and groupies. It's a lot more.
I don't know. I hope nobody thinks it's groupies anymore. That's pretty sad. And no beers. I actually hate beer. I've never liked it. So it's all red wine and it's and good yarns.
I feel like your backstage parties would be very refined.
I think that, I'm not really much of a partier. I'm 29 now. I did used to get a little bit raw when I was younger, but I'm a bit older now. I don't really value partying that much.
Okay.
I value one-on-one chats and just really like getting to the core of what's going on in someone's life at this present moment,
Have you ever done the thing where have you ever actually taken the bottle of wine on stage when you're playing it, or just have a glass there and just like top up as you go?
Not a bottle, but like every single time I'll have a glass usually.
Yeah.
I didn't drink for a period of like 9 months, like a year ago. And that was interesting, just like being up there with water. But it was also really nice to be like actually nervous, like you just feel the nerves and you can't wash it away. But yeah, I do love having like a wine when I'm playing solo. That's really nice.
That's good. Yeah. Yeah. It always.
And I think it's also a bit of an icebreaker for everybody else. If they see you like, stop and start like explaining what a song is about and you have a little sip of red wine, I think it just adds to the like general vibe.
A certain panache.
But also kudos to people who don't drink though. It's really incredible.
Of course. We'll take a cheeky lemonade on stage any day of the week.
Oh, you know what? Lemon lime bitters is the most underrated drink.
Oh, yeah, but I mean,
I love lemon lime bitters.
I didn't mention it because technically, and I say this with a massive eye roll and air quotes, got alcohol in it, but.
The bitters.
Who's counting?
You know what? When I was a kid, I'd be like, I'm drinking alcohol because Mum would get me lemon lime bitters.
You did
I felt so adult.
You did feel so badass. You're absolutely right.
I felt I was the most badass 6-year-old there was in that like tavern, in that buffet tavern.
Buffet tavern.
Do you remember those?
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to go to them like every Friday.
They're great.
Like all you can eat kids. There's a playground usually. Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, they had one not far from where we had family down here in Melbourne. Had the volcano, and there was another one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, each one had a theme, and then we'd go and visit our family in Geelong, and they'd take us to the one out on the Geelong Pier. So literally in the middle of the bay. And it'd be a water themed, like, King Neptune sort of, under the sea
That's
thing.
so groovy. That sounds so American.
And like an animatronic, King Neptune with his, how do you call it, trident, and his eyes would light up.
That sounds like a American road trip thing, like you would take a picture of this Neptune out in the middle of the desert.
Yeah, well, I mean, we have the same thing with your big bananas and your the big what is it, big pineapple, and then you go to Goulburn and it's the big ram.
I've never seen any of those before, but I have seen the big camera.
Wait, there's a big camera?
Yeah, there's a big camera in WA.
Oh, okay. Does it actually take pictures?
No, it's very, very dilapidated. It's an old camera.
Oh, no. Oh, so it's like one of those old Fujifilm ones. I bought a camera over the Christmas break, and it's a Fujifilm, and they still make them look like they were made in the 80s. So people go, does it still use film? I didn't realise Fujifilm still made film cameras. No, it looks like
right?
they do. They do, but like it looks like it does take film, but no, it's a modern digital camera.
Those Lakers are beautiful, but they they're such poses. They look like they take film, but really it's just a really good digital camera.
Yeah. Oh, there's something wrong with the camera. It's really bloody good, but it looks like you stole it off your grandma. And I say that
imposter syndrome.
yeah, and I say that because my grandma had a camera which looks exactly the same as mine. But no,
Oh.
I was going to say the big ram has the anatomically correct size testicles at the back, and
Oh, really?
Ram's testicles are large as they are, and so these
Yeah,
are enormous.
I once saw a dachshund in the park, like a little male dachshund, and he was a brute. He had like these big shoulders. He was barking at everyone, and his balls were literally scraping the ground. They were scraping the ground because we never see animals with them. Like we never see dogs with them, right?
No.
Because like it's illegal. If they're not going to be a officially registered breeder dog, then they're not allowed to have balls. So I finally saw them for once, and I was like, oh my god, that's so scary.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be the lady who like owns that dog and is like giving it a pat because, he could like start, getting a bit weird at any time.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's like you'd think that would be an evolutionary regressive trait because like it's such a vulnerable area.
Yeah, and I mean, like they get desexed, like 90% of them get desexed. You'd think it would start showing up in their evolutionary genes.
I know.
Like maybe they don't. Maybe they're going to stop getting born with like any testicles.
But Tanaya, the ones that don't have the testicles aren't breeding, so that doesn't work like that. It's the ones
No,
that
I guess. Oh my god, you are so right. You are so right.
Let's prevent something from happening because we don't like it, but don't do anything to actually prevent it. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. It's evolutionary biology with Daniel and Tanaya here.
Yeah, well, you want to know
next.
something crazy? I was watching
was Darwin's theory of evolution a mistake? Find out next after these messages.
Or are we living in the Truman Show of dog breeders?
I was going to think of a funny line, but I couldn't. Something. Oh, they're really not supposed to have balls. They're supposed to be on the top of their head, but they've got us in an artificially confined chamber where the balls are underneath their stomach.
We can just live knowing that the joke that we created was great.
Yeah.
It is so good as it is.
Something like that. Yeah, it's some weird joke that no one's going to go, really, was that funny? It only was funny to us.
I wonder how many people are going to be like rolling over in laughter listening to this.
They're probably sick of us already tonight, let's face it.
Yeah, we've been turned off.
And
this is for the deep dark web.
Yeah. No, you got to have the Tor download before you can access this episode.
I'm just watching my two cats, and my boy cat is like really nasty to my girl cat. He's just a bit of a bully, and she's just sleeping. And I just saw him prepare to pounce on her, and I think she felt something in the force change, and she just like lifted her head, and oh no, he's about to pounce on me. So I stopped him.
Bit playful
because he's a bit mean. He's a bit too mean,
Yeah, I was going to segue with the. They're probably sick of us. Speaking of, thank you for coming. So you made me lose my perfect segue, Tanaya, which was going to be the thank you for coming on and.
My pleasure.
Reveling in the fun times.
Thank you for having me, and thanks for tolerating me having to midway through.
Now, of course,
it's very important. I'm sorry, the vote's a little bit more important than the yarn.
That's okay. For those of you who didn't know, we carefully edited out the bit where she said, leave me for 5 minutes, Daniel. I've got to vote.
I've got to do my state election vote.
State elections on today, yeah. I just want to say, thanks again for coming on. The volume 1 of Tender is the Night is out now on Bandcamp specifically, isn't it?
Yeah, only on Bandcamp because we're 100% of proceeds from Bandcamp sales are going to go straight to bushfire victims from the Waterloo bushfires a couple months ago. So, yeah, you can only get it on Bandcamp because I really want people just like listening to it on Spotify and if they want to listen to it and not, contributing anything to a cause. So, yeah, that's our tactic,
Fair enough. Yeah, so if you get a chance, guys, and please go and listen to the full thing and give it a download on Bandcamp to support what is really a great cause.
Yeah, I would really appreciate it. We've raised $913 so far.
Brilliant. That's really good. That's awesome.
I really hope it does something,
Yeah, and of course, make sure you check out Tanaya on her socials, wherever that might be, for, I guess, all of her stuff that's coming up.
I would probably just direct people immediately to Instagram because I also upload like stories pretty frequently, and I consider myself quite funny.
Oh yes.
I make it quite a jokester Instagram.
Any cat stories that come up?
So many.
I feel like that's just a wealth of entertainment.
I've got a little girl, and she's so beautiful, but God, she's a bitch. So a lot of my videos are just of her glaring at me. It's shocking, you know. I'll like try and do some Pilates, and she'll just be glaring at me from above.
So what is this stupid exercise? This isn't going to help hunting at all.
You dumb pink fleshy thing. Okay. Well, you have a great day. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. Please. Thanks for joining us today, Tanaya. We are about to play one of the songs that came off your first EP, which is Dissociate. No, Dissociate. I pronounced it incorrectly.
I think it's Dissociate.
Yeah, Dissociate. Now, you elaborated a bit before how it was one of those songs that sort of explained how you had that, I guess, the battle going on with trying to write. But I guess what stood out for you for this one in particular, because this was one of your favourites on the record. But what stood out for you?
I think my favourite bit was I felt really proud of like how I sang it. When I listened back to it, I was like, oh my God, I didn't sound terrible. I actually good that night. And then like the strings on top of it just like for me just feels like, oh my God, it's been fully realised. So now I see the song for what it is. I'm really proud of it. It's beautiful. So yeah, that was mainly why.
I should mention too, I see here the strings on that one were arranged by Erin Gordon, and so they're playing the strings on this one.
She is not playing. She arranged it, and then the quartet never changes. Like the quartet stayed the same, and they learn all of the arrangements from like I think 4 or 5 composers.
I can see. Yeah, pretty much each song's got a different one, but yeah, really good job by the guys playing, and of course the arrangements as well.
Yeah, they're stunning. Absolutely stunning.
Yeah, awesome.
It's an honour.
Tanaya, why don't you do us the goods and introduce the song for us and take us out and tell people who you are.
Okay. My name is Tanaya Harper, and the next song that you're going to hear is called Dissociate, which was originally on my first EP, Some Kinds, and now it is on Tender as the Night, which is a live recording of a string quartet behind me on some of my songs.
Enjoy, folks.
No plan, it's just coming out. And I've tried to figure it out. Disappeared for a moment. Dissociated, hung in the air. I cling to all that I can, and I've tried, but you keep pulling me back. Disappeared for a moment. Dissociated, hung in the I'm not sure of myself anymore. I'm not sure, I'm not sure, I'm not sure. I'm not sure, I'm not sure of myself anymore. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Howdy, dude. How you going? I hope you really, really enjoyed that chat with Tanaya. That was, as you just heard, Dissociate. Again, off her brand new live EP, Tender is the Night, Volume 1, which, as you will know, as you now know, is raising money for the Perth bushfire victims. So again, if you get a chance, please, 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 please donate some money and buy the record on Bandcamp, which is currently the only place you can listen to it. I want to thank Tanaya for being awesome, an awesome guest. And of course, I also want to mention big thanks to Sarah Guppy from This Much Talent Australia for helping us set that one up. Sarah, you're a legend. Keep it up, guys. Now, before we pop off to the next part on our second half of this episode, I just want to remind you guys to make sure to check out all the other, I was about to say bar talk shows. Nope, this is the only bar talk show. Now, what I meant to say was make sure you check out all of the other AMR shows, The Mint Factory, Heavy Reborn, and a new one, Congo Rhythms, which is a really cool new show that we've got going at the moment. So please go and check out all of our other shows at australianmusiciansradio.com. Of course, make sure you check out our socials as well while you're at it. Facebook, YouTube for Bar Talk, and of course for AMR Australia, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We'll leave it at that. We'll remind you again after the second half of the episode to check our socials if you haven't already. But in the meantime, pause this, pop on to part 2, listen to my sexy interview with Barley Passable. We'll see you all there. Well, what are you waiting for? Go and listen to it. I said go and listen to it.
AustralianMusiciansRadio.com